Matt's good? Thank you.
My face is sweating. Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. You may notice that we have a little bit of a different setup tonight. We have laptops. The board is going paperless. So we now have laptops and our board packets are been loaded up onto Google Drive. So we're going to see how this goes. So please bear with us as we forge this new path for the board. And welcome to this West Orange Board of Education meeting on Monday, January 24th, 2022. A warm welcome to all of our board members and Vice President Rothstein, members Huerta, Rock, and Stevenson, welcome. And of course, welcome to our student liaisons who are down there, hello. And of course, we also say hello to Ms. Flowers and Dr. Cascone. And of course, to all of those of you who are here with us tonight, either in person or virtually. We're glad to have you with us. Ms. Flowers, would you kindly take the roll call and read the notice of the meeting?
Good evening, everyone. Roll call, please. Mrs. Huerta? Here. Mr. Rock?
Here.
Mr. Stevenson?
Here.
Vice President Rothstein?
Here.
President Tunnicliffe?
Here.
Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Notice of meeting. Please take notice that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in the following manner: that a written notice was sent from the Office of the Secretary of the Board at 4 p.m. on January 10, 2022. That said notice was sent by regular mail to the West Orange Township Clerk and the editors of the West Orange Chronicle and the Star Ledger. That said notice was posted in the lobby of the Administration Building of the Board of Education. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Flowers. Okay. So do I have, in consideration of the closed and public meeting minutes of December 16th and 20th of 2021 and January 6th, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Yes, moved.
Second?
Second.
Oh, okay. Great. Ms. Flowers?
Mrs. Huerta?
Yes.
Mr. Rock?
Abstain on the 16th, but yes on the 6th.
Thank you. Mr. Stevenson?
Yes.
Vice President Tunnicliffe? Excuse me, Vice President Rothstein?
Yes.
President Tunnicliffe?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now we move on to our student liaisons report.
Thank you. We're very proud to have our sports back at the high school, which started back on January 17th after a pause due to an increase of COVID cases. We would also like to thank Mr. Moore and Mr. Zakella for all the hard work of bringing weekly COVID testing, rapid and PCR for athletes and in-person extracurricular participants on Monday, and also for students and community members on Thursday. At the new testing center in the PV, involved for making the moves to keep all students, staff, and the community as safe as possible. We would also like to announce that the Riding Center for students who need support is now available after school from 2:30 to 5, Tuesdays and Thursdays. The sign-up sheet is outside the LMC. The teachers available are Dr. Alcindor, Mr. Goodrich, Mr. Nelson, Ms. Rivera, Ms. Barron, Ms. Barnes, and Ms. Alcadi.
The West Orange LMC will now be open before school Monday to Friday from 6:50 to 7:20 a.m., as well as after school on Monday and Wednesday from 2:30 to 3:30. Please keep in mind that there are no late buses until 5 p.m. and students must have their IDs to enter the LMC. And finally, the Roosevelt Middle School also held their first reading for the spring musical Annie Jr., which will be held on May 13 and 15. And the high school has also began rehearsal of the spring musical Into the Woods. Shows are April 8, 9, and 10.
Thank you to both of our student liaisons. We appreciate the report. And at this time, I would like to turn the floor over to our superintendent, Dr. Cascone. Take it away.
Thank you, President Tunnicliffe. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome everyone in attendance tonight. It's fantastic to see all of our outstanding educators and support professionals, educational support professionals who will be recognized tonight. It's wonderful to see families in attendance to celebrate this great occasion. And it's really appropriate, I think, that we come together tonight to recognize these exemplary educators in this district at this time. I was saying to, I forget who it was, but I was just saying, I was thinking to myself recently, as you know, we continue to kind of live and persevere through these very challenging times. I never cease to be amazed by the human spirit and the strength and character of the human spirit, and dare I say, the spirit of our country and our American people here in this great country of ours. And that is on full display here in West Orange. And we've been through some tough weeks, right? Since we hit the holidays, and I've in my career, I've never seen a more significant set of challenges. And I just can't, I'm just overwhelmed with a level of pride, a sense of pride for this school district and the way in which our staff, our administrators, our teachers, our counselors, our custodians, our bus drivers, in the face of just unbelievable challenges, just continued to persevere through that, as well as our students and our families. I mean, I really think that the character of a community is the character of a person is revealed in times of challenge. And this community continues to reveal its character and its quality on a daily basis in these times. And I'm just tremendously thankful and proud of everyone in this community at this time. And so with that, we are so excited tonight to welcome our Governor's Educator of the Year Award winners, recipients, and we wish them all the best as they submit their candidacy for the county and ultimately state teacher of the year. I just can't believe we haven't won that yet. Let's go. Come on, West Orange. It's got to be from West Orange this year. And so with that, I'd like to, is Dr. Vespignani in the house? I'd like to acknowledge, I'd call up our Executive Director of Personnel and Special Projects, Dr. Vespignani. I'd also like to thank him for his efforts in bringing this program back to West Orange, because it had been gone for some time, and Dr. Vespignani was really committed to bringing it back. So, Dr. V, we're going to need a couple minutes just to get our setup ready to go, and then we'll be ready to proceed. And board members, if I could ask you to just take a seat in the front row and sit back and enjoy.
Great, thank you and good evening, Board of Education, Dr. Cascone, administration, community and staff. From an HR perspective, tonight is just a really exciting night for me as we honor our Governor's Educator of the Year recipients. Just a little bit about the program, if you're unfamiliar with it, it's an annual program run through the New Jersey Department of Education, where all schools have an opportunity to go through a nomination and selection process for a Teacher of the Year and an Educational Services Professional of the Year. The latter being could be a school counselor, member of the child study team, paraprofessional, school nurse. Those would be some examples of that. I wanted to first thank our really dynamic team of administrators who not only have joined us this evening and dedicated their night to celebrate and recognize their recipients, but also led the search and selection process within the respective schools. And the role of the principal has really become so dynamic, and to lead this type of process on top of everything going on in the schools is really really special. So thank you to our administrative team for joining us tonight, and it's much appreciated. So the program typically begins in October and the selection process ends in November. And then the Teachers of the Year have an opportunity to submit, as Dr. Gascon had indicated, opportunity to submit for County Teacher of the Year. So we'll be monitoring that, and we'll hopefully we'll have someone selected in that capacity. And it can happen. When I was an elementary school principal, we did have a fourth grade teacher selected as a County Teacher of the Year. So best of and continuing in the process, and ultimately potentially for the state selection as well. So each recipient will receive what I think is a really beautiful plaque with the title of the program, their name, whether it's Teacher of the Year or Educational Services Professional of the Year, and then indicating the year and the school where the recipient is from. So we hope you enjoy this special honor. At the conclusion of the presentation, there'll be a photo op just outside in the lobby. So we'll be distributing these as we go through tonight's event. So I'd like to go through the schools and have the principal come up and say just a few words about each recipient and as to why they led to the selection within their school communities, and then we will award the plaques. So starting with our youngest learners from Betty Madalena Early Learning Center, Ms. Salambeno.
Good evening. It is my honor to present Ms. Elizabeth Rubin as the Betty Madalena Early Learning Center's Teacher of the Year. Ms. Rubin is an exceptional educator who has been with the West Orange School District since 2005. Within the classroom, Ms. Rubin demonstrates extreme competence in her knowledge and skills in applied behavioral analysis and discrete trial instruction. She works with an extremely challenging young population and is able to differentiate her instruction to meet the needs of each of her learners. Ms. Rubin creates engaging, challenging lessons where her students can practice the skills they learn in discrete trial instruction in generalized settings. She also facilitates the design of teaching programs tailored to meet each of her students' specific needs. Ms. Rubin is responsible for the training and oversight of her classroom paraprofessionals as her students require support within the learning environment. She takes the time to model, train, and follow up with her classroom staff so that they exhibit the skills and demeanor in their instruction in which align with her expectations. Ms. Rubin also collaborates with families so they understand the principles of ABA and are able to support her instruction at home. This conscientious effort enables her classroom staff and families the most effective means to work with a child. Finally, Ms. Rubin is an active and engaged member of the Betty Madalena Early Learning Center. She spearheads such projects as our School Spirit and participates in any and all events within the school. She is the first to volunteer her services. Overall, Ms. Rubin is professional, dedicated, and committed to the learning of her students. Congratulations, Liz. Next, it is my honor and privilege to present Ms. Shari Whitman as the BMELC Education Support Person of the Year. Ms. Whitman has been a school social worker for the school district for 21 years. Ms. Whitman consistently demonstrates compassion, ethics as she carries out her daily responsibilities. She spends her time between two schools, the Betty Madalena Early Learning Center and Washington Elementary School. What you may or may not know is our program is enrolled in both sites. Ms. Whitman case manages students enrolled at both sites and works diligently to meet the needs of the Betty Madalena Early Learning Center's preschool program. Within both schools, she is a resource to staff and families. She takes the time to get to know and observe all the children she is responsible for. Ms. Whitman is also consistently willing to assist her colleagues when needed. She has a robust knowledge of special education law and is able to share that knowledge with families who are entering the district for the first time. In addition, Ms. Whitman has taken the time to learn about tools of the mind as well as applied behavioral analysis, so she is able to make sound programming recommendations and create supports for her learners within those two programs. While Ms. Whitman manages a large caseload of students, she also volunteers for school committees without taking any time from her duties. She's a part of the BMELC SKIP committee and a part of the Washington Elementary School INRS and school safety committees. Ms. Whitman demonstrates a caring professional attitude at all times. She's an integral part of the Betty Madalena Early Learning Center team. Congratulations, Shari. Liz, congratulations. Shar, congratulations.
Lambano. And I should note that not all schools have an educational services professional of the year just by way of the eligibility requirements and the personnel involved in those nomination processes. So in some cases in schools this evening, we will not have an educational services professional, but we will recognize the teacher of the year. Next up is Gregory Elementary School, and the recipient was unable to attend, but I would like to publicly recognize her on behalf of Principal Hewitt. Miss Lisa Pacini Asman, physical education and health teacher, is the teacher of the year from Gregory Elementary. Nice round of applause for Miss Asman Pacini. All right, moving along from Hazel Elementary, Miss Marti.
Good evening. I am so very happy and proud to present Hazel Avenue School's Educator of the Year, Miss Karen Lott. Karen has worked in West Orange for over 34 years. She is constantly seeking ways in which to help the students and the staff. She offers help to anyone in the school building in any capacity. She creates bonds with the students and is a very effective teacher. Her position as an intervention teacher has made her one of our most valuable faculty members. Her lessons are engaging, challenging, well-planned, flawlessly delivered, and effective. To see Karen teaching math is a thing of beauty. During these challenging past 2 years, Ms. Lott has gone above and beyond, not only to facilitate her lessons for her students, but to voluntarily substitute in any capacity, in any position that might need to be filled so that the school can continue running. She does it all with a smile, and is full of kindness and just this offers to help. She creates a sense of a community and warmth in every classroom. The parent community adores her and is a wonderful baker. She also possesses a way of recognizing when a child or an adult in the building is in need of encouragement, and she provides that selflessly. Ms. Lott is a true example of dedication to Hazel Avenue School and to the West Orange family. So help me congratulate her. So this is for you. And I don't know if you want me to.
And from Kelly Elementary School, I'd like to introduce Principal Mr. Castillo.
Good evening, everyone. It's an honor to present to you Mrs. Cynthia Cooney as Kelly Elementary School's 2022 Teacher of the Year. Let's give her a round of applause. Mrs. Cooney is one of our amazing BSI teachers, and she has been serving students in the field of education for 27 years. Her commitment and passion for teaching students and making academic progress are evident as she works with the large populations of students needing academic intervention. Mrs. Cooney is always there for her colleagues, as well as in providing supportive professional rapport to benefit the classroom and school community as a whole. Please help me again in congratulating Cindy. Congratulations, Cindy. Next, it's an honor also to congratulate Mrs. Florence Chericello as the Kelly Elementary School Educational Service Professional of the Year. Mrs. Chericello is our school counselor and has been servicing students within education for 22 years. Her passion and enthusiasm for social and emotional stability of our students and staff are like no other I've ever seen. Mrs. Chericello's commitment to her school family provides for continued moments of joy and emotional support for our students and staff alike. Congratulations, Flo.
And from Mount Pleasant, Mr. Giacomo.
We have a cheering section tonight. We're so lucky. It gives me great pleasure to present Ms. Ali Fazio with the award for 2022 Governor Educator of the Year. Ms. Fazio has 16 years experience as an elementary teacher and has spanned both primary and upper grades. Over the past 7 years, Ms. Fazio has taught kindergarten, where she uses her superpowers to allow her tiny heroes to grow and flourish. And our tiny heroes are here tonight cheering her on. Ms. Fazio skillfully uses a reading and writing workshop approach to transform her littles into adept readers and writers. Ms. Fazio differentiates for her students, allowing them to take risks and to be independent thinkers and problem solvers. Kindergarten in Ms. Fazio's classroom is not only rigorous, but most importantly, it's fun. Ms. Fazio is excellent with technology and has creatively integrated various platforms and software into her kindergarten curricula. She also utilizes Seesaw and social media to communicate with her parent community. Ms. Fazio is often seen helping her colleagues navigate the challenges of incorporating technology into virtual learning. Ms. Fazio is a leader at Mount Pleasant. We have one of the most diverse schools in the nation, and Ms. Fazio has embraced her English language learners. She completed sheltered instruction training and has taken the lead in kindergarten in working with incoming ELLs. Ms. Fazio has served on both our district She takes the time to get to know those around her and wants others to feel comfortable and, most importantly, laugh. She has a wonderful sense of humor and is often seen dressing up in one kind of costume or another, depending on the event and or holiday. We can count on Miss Fazio to make us laugh and bring joy to our school. She genuinely goes out of her way for others and is the first to lend a hand to help out in the bus room, at dismissal, with contact tracing, and any task or challenge that comes our way. Ms. Fazio is the kind of teacher that was meant to be a teacher, and we're blessed to have her at Mount Pleasant. Congratulations, Allie. So I'm also lucky tonight to present Brianna Grasso, who is our nurse at Mount Pleasant for Educational Services Professional of the Year. 2 years ago at Mount Pleasant, our beloved nurse, Ms. Shelley, left our school family, and everyone was super worried. We were very, very concerned about replacing her. Little did we know that we found a medical rock star when we hired Miss Grasso. She is the kind of nurse that came to us prepared to be a school nurse. She worked in multiple roles and settings following her graduation, and she started her own career working in a hospital and then transitioned to outpatient settings, and she was even a nurse educator. So we were lucky that she had that outside training, but nothing, and I mean nothing, could have prepared Nurse Grasso for what was to come. Just a couple weeks of being at Mount Pleasant, we started the pandemic. And, you know, as you know, this presented educators and medical professionals throughout New Jersey and even, you know, the nation, the world, with unprecedented challenges. And Nurse Grasso brings not only her expertise to this position, but her compassion. She has supported our staff and students during two of the most challenging education. Making decisions about safety is always difficult, but in a pandemic where there are so many unknowns and the rules are constantly changing, it is nearly impossible. Nurse Grasso is organized. She's passionate about health and safety. She leads by example with empathy and kindness. As you can imagine, there have been many times where our school community was challenged beyond belief with managing COVID mandates, contact tracing, and quarantining, but Nurse Grasso always manages to find a way to make the most difficult situations manageable. No matter what the challenge or new mandate, Nurse Grasso perseveres, supports our families, students, and staff. Whether it is her many cheat sheets to help staff and families understand a new mandate or procedure, or her many spreadsheets to organize our data and health information, Nurse Grasso delivers. Her tenacity and endurance allow our school community to thrive, even in the midst of a pandemic where so much is new and unknown. We are beyond lucky to have Nurse Grasso at Mount Pleasant. Thank you, Brianna. Great job. I've got this. I really do. You think this is funny, guys, right? It was upside down.
All right, and from Redwood Elementary, Miss Jackson.
Good evening. I am proud to be here this evening to announce Ms. Kristen Dunleavy as our Educator of the Year at Redwood Elementary School. Ms. Dunleavy has worked in the West Orange School District for 16 years as a teacher of students with disabilities. She is one of our faculty who does not let her unique physical ability halt her professional prowess. During this past year, Ms. Dunleavy has gone above and beyond to not only facilitate lessons to her students, but to voluntarily co-teach ELA with one of our 5th grade teachers and go beyond her call of duty by also helping her administrator learn how to use Google. She creates online tools and templates for easy lesson planning, agenda book recording, lunch count calculations. Thank you so much. I know Mashie appreciates you. And daily slideshows for synchronous and asynchronous learning, just to name a few of the technology-based tools she initiated. Ms. Dunleavy ensures a safe dismissal for all of our bus students by working with our office staff and our our school counselor to track over 200 students who receive district transportation. Ms. Dunleavy should be recognized with the Governor's Educator of the Year Award for how she takes the initiative to fill the needs and notice all the needs, for her sense of community as well. Congratulations, Ms. Dunleavy. Yes, good job. Next, it is my honor to recognize Miss Nancy Hopkins, who is endearingly called Miss Redwood, with the Educational Service Professional of the Year Award. Miss Nancy Hopkins has been a paraprofessional in our district for 25 years. As she told me today, that is half of her lifetime. She was nominated for the Educational Services Professional of the Year Award for countless reasons. At any given time, Miss Nancy, or Miss Redwood, has worn the administrative assistant, school nurse, teacher, lunch aide, custodian, and director of Kiss and Go traffic hats. In addition to these things, she is the creator and the host of the Nan Mo Show. I didn't tell them yet. What is the Nan Mo Show, you ask? Well, 5 years ago, Miss Nancy Hopkins began a social emotional talk show, before that was the trend, in her 5th grade classroom, where she was and still is an amazing paraprofessional. This talk show organically evolved when a student's grandmother died. Miss Nancy wanted the student to have a safe space to share and feel experiences with no judgment. When she created this space, I don't think she knew it would grow as it has thus far. As the world began to shut down in March of 2020, Ms. Hopkins continued the show using SEL prompts based on student interest. Some of the most recent topics have been, how do you feel when you see homeless people? What makes us a family? How do you feel about your family? Tell me more about you, and more. The fifth graders and their teachers look forward to these end of the day talks where they can be reflective, introspective, and vulnerable in a space which is safe and brave. From Ms. Nancy's love, care, and kindness, her determination, leadership, and collaborative spirit, we honor her. Congratulations, Ms. Hopkins.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. And from St. Cloud Elementary, Mr. Price.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I was sweating it out back there. I only have 19% battery left on my phone. So we made it. We're here. I just couldn't be more happy and proud to be here on behalf of the faculty, staff, and entire community of St. Cloud School to recognize as our Governor's Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Tara Capra, our fourth grade teacher. Tara has been in West Orange for 26 years. She spent 2 years as a special education teacher in a self-contained classroom, 6 years in third grade. And for the last 10 years, she has been a fourth grade teacher, but I don't think that adds up to 26, 14 years third grade. And we can't say enough about Mrs. Capra's practice. Is an amazing, amazing teacher, a master teacher. She combines intelligence and compassion and a sharp insight into her students' personalities and their learning styles to create each and every day a literary salon in her classroom. She plans and prepares with exactitude. She expects the best effort of all of her children and treats each one with dignity and love, and as an individual. She is respected and relied upon by her colleagues for her insights and has always been a reservoir of sage advice as my neighbor across the hall for me as a principal. She's been a really good friend, a really amazing colleague. Ms. Capper has written curriculum for our district, giving back what she knows and what she has gathered in wisdom to every child in our community in the fourth grade. And she is always seeking better ways to think about her teaching, to think about instruction. Tara never feels like she's doing enough. She's always feeling frustrated in some way. And I'm always telling her that she's exceeding expectations each and every day, but that's how tough she is on herself, and that's how much she loves the kids and how much she wants to give. Her family, her husband Nino, another educator, her daughter Leah, and her son Matthew are inspiration. Thank you, Tara, for being the amazing teacher you are, for giving it all each and every day, and for being the amazing person that you are. we're blessed. Big round of applause for Mrs. Capra. Unfortunately, this evening, we're also recognizing a paraprofessional in our building, Mrs. Melissa Benson. Mrs. Benson couldn't be here tonight, but she has been working over 10 years at St. Cloud School. A paraprofessional is a really challenging job. Each and every year, you transition to a new classroom, to a new set of kids, to a new curriculum. And Melissa Benson, year after year, has done just that. She's been a real great resource at St. Cloud. And we're blessed to have Melissa Benson as a paraprofessional in the building. So again, Mrs. Capper, thank you for all you do. You deserve this.
From Washington Elementary, Mr. Mayo.
Good evening, everyone. It is a pleasure to introduce Mrs. Luz Latimer as the Educator of the Year from Washington School. Luz is our ESL teacher. She has spent 31 years of service at our school. During her 31 years of service at Washington School, Luz Latimer has represented everything that is good about education. She demonstrates a true dedication and interest in her students, parents, colleagues, and community. She is an instructional leader, a great professional, and an outstanding role model for everyone at Washington. She is trustworthy with a clear vision of desired success for all her ESL students. She has created a rainbow of all cultures and nationalities at our school, making all our students very important people. She is our official interpreter and is always there when we need her, a magnificent teacher. I want to thank Luz Latimer for her wonderful leadership and for being the Teacher of the Year and for everything she contributes to our Washington School family. Thank you. Luz. And this, I guess, is for you. Thank you so much. You're welcome.
And from Thomas Edison Central 6, Mr. Fitzgerald.
Good evening, everybody. Oh, you can do a lot better than that. We must sit back there listening to these speeches. You got to do a lot better than that. Good evening, everyone. Okay, so at Edison, we're known to say good, better, best. Never let it rest until well, you know, at this point, I'm going to introduce to you Jessica Byrne, who is the very best that Edison has for this year. This is my privilege and my honor to introduce you guys to Jessica Byrne, who is our Teacher of the Year at Edison Middle School. I do not have a long speech, but I was told that I can use up to 10 minutes, and Mr. Hush is asking me to warm up the congregation before he starts. So with that being said, I met Jess some 17 years ago. In those 17 years, She left and she came back. And I remember the very first time she came back, when she got on the phone, she said, "Mr. Fitzgerald, you remember me?" I said, "Yes, Jess, how can I not remember you?" And then she said, "Well, I'm looking to come back. Are you willing to hire me?" "Yes, Jess, please come back. I am willing to hire anybody that can teach mathematics the way you teach." Being a former math teacher, math is not everybody's favorite subject. And so when you find someone who can make math engaging, when you find someone who can make math fun, when you find someone who can build rapport, and year after year after year, the parents and the teachers and or her fellow colleagues and students then come back and say, "What a great teacher you are," then there's not much more I need to say as the building administrator. The one thing that I am going to read, and this is what just really, and one of the themes that I've heard is that everybody has this, as an informal leader or an instructional leader, you are hard on yourself. And so I'm just going to read this real fast. It's called Committing to Excellence. And I saw this today on the Twitter page. It says, "Excellence requires an incredible commitment to persist through the ups and downs associated with becoming your best and maintaining your best performance. You must ignite something within you that drives you to excel. You must not only commit yourself to the goal of excelling, but you must commit yourself to act on daily basis in ways that lead you to excel." And ladies and gentlemen, that's the best that I have right there. This lady continues to excel in a classroom and for her students. And that's all I got. I told you I'd be short, quick, and to the point. As always, good, better, best. Never let it rest till your good is better, and you are your very best. Miss Jessica. We also are presenting Miss Carlene Hernandez. Miss Carlene Hernandez is our school. She is not able to be here tonight. She is out sick. However, I have to say that the very characteristics that exemplify Miss Byrne are the same characteristics that exemplify Miss Carlene Hernandez, who is committed to her students in different ways than an instructional leader, but more on the long of a social leader. So with that, Miss Carlene Hernandez.
Very well. And from Liberty Middle School, Mr. Clement.
All right, good evening, all. Congratulations to all these outstanding educators. Let me start with our Governor's Educator Award, and that's going to be awarded to Miss Nancy Silva, ELA 7th grade teacher. Nancy is a 20-year veteran, joined Liberty in 2005 when we first opened, and she's a passionate educator who was a language arts teacher. Obviously places a priority on reading and language preparation. And what impresses me is how she adjusts that instruction, how it looks depending on the students in front of her. So whether that's challenging those who are readily steadily progressing to making adjustments in lessons for those who face challenges in language arts. In addition, Nancy has been a 7th grade team leader for many years, which helps to promote and support building goals. So congratulations, Nancy. Thank you for all you do. Next, my learning consultant, case manager, Todd Cohen, a 19-year veteran. I do share him with Mr. Hush, so he's at Roosevelt as well. But again, Mr. Cohen demonstrates a daily commitment in supporting students, whether they happen to be one of the students he case manages or any student in need. So I am so proud of his advocacy for all students at Liberty, and I'm sure at Roosevelt as well. So Mr. Cohen initiates and participates in grade level team meetings to stay abreast of all that is happening at Liberty. And he has also, during these past 2 years, volunteered to be part of that building-wide COVID Health and Safety Committee to again help support the building and our community. So I'm extremely proud of both of these individuals. They make my job so much easier because of the hard work they put in. So congratulations, Nancy and Todd. Thank you.
And from Roosevelt Middle School, Mr. Hush.
Good evening, everyone. It is my distinct honor and pleasure to present to you the Roosevelt Middle School Educator of the Year, Ms. Nicole Yoon. Nicole is a model for what true educators should be. I hired her 10 years ago, straight out of Rutgers University, with a strong passion for children and the drive to do everything possible to reach them all. These qualities have not wavered one bit through her decade of teaching. Her conscientious approach ensures that all students, regardless of background and circumstance, are treated equitably and just. Her dedication to her students and her craft are consistently visible, oftentimes well into the night, as she provides extra help to students on and off her roster well past contracted time. Nicole's classroom is a safe and nurturing environment that challenges students versions of themselves, while her organization, creativity, and attention to detail increases her ability to help them actually reach their full potential. It is her ability to inspire confidence in students that may not necessarily be the most proficient is what truly sets her apart from her peers. As a learner herself, she continues to refine her pedagogical practice year in and year out through her professional development activities and professional learning networks, of which she turnkeys to our staff to help her colleagues better themselves. Her care for the children of our community goes beyond the classroom, as she not only chairs our student mentoring program, but is also consistently seen supporting our children at numerous sporting events, dance recitals, and concerts throughout the state. Nicole is a sought after to maintain positive relationships with students and families throughout her tenure here in West Orange. And many of her students come back to visit often to express appreciation for her and her dedication to them. Roosevelt Middle School has served as a home away from home for so many students. Staff members like Nicole Yoon are part of the reason why. Ms. Nicole Yoon.
And from the high school, Mr. Moore.
Good evening, everyone. First, thank you for the response, but this is the end of the night. I wasn't expecting that. So we look like a band. Come on closer, come on closer, come on closer. Not a boy band, obviously. But first and foremost, congratulations. I am very lucky because I've been in this district over 22 years. So I know many people that have received awards tonight, and I want to congratulate you and say it's well deserved. And it's a pleasure knowing you myself and a pleasure being part of this West Orange School District family. So congratulations to all the recipients.
Now on to West Orange High School. So I was thinking over there and scratching with my pen as I was looking through what I wrote about both of these gentlemen, and I think I can wrap it up in one here. Both gentlemen work in our special ed department. Both advocate for their students. Both are committed to their students. Both formulate strong, trusting relationships with some of our most challenging students. Yet both greet us here every day with a smile and a positive attitude. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to first introduce West Orange Teacher of the Year, Mr. Anthony Perconti. I wanted to get some of the general things out of the way as I speak a little bit about Mr. Perconti as an educator. Mr. Perconti works with our 18 to 21 program, which is for some of our special needs students. When we talk about education, sometimes we think it's about the classroom, subject matter. But I'll tell you that Anthony does a little more than that. Anthony truly educates our students. He gives our students that have special needs a chance to be in the workforce. Anthony doesn't just do this with theory in a classroom. He actually job places our students, then goes out and monitors their progress. He works with business owners to understand the special needs and modifications that students with very special needs may need to work in our society. So Anthony is more than just an educator in this building. He's an educator in our community. Ladies and gentlemen, Teacher of the Year, West Orange High School, Mr. Anthony Perconti. I know I said they both work in special ed, special education. So next is a gentleman that's very dear to me, and I'll explain that as we go on. But ladies and gentlemen, first, let me give him his due before I make fun of him. Ladies and gentlemen, our Education Professional of the Year, Mr. Lee Cohen. Lee Cohen is a school psychologist here at West Orange High School. But he's more than that. Before I tell you about my personal dealings with Lee, let me tell you that Lee's been here 21 years. He is one of the most dedicated child study team members. And I got a chance when I was on child study team to come to the tail end of that, I believe, Lee, and work with him before I moved into the high school. But his dedication, his commitment to the students is unyielding. And I don't just say that because it's something you say. It's when people do home visits, which Lee will do, come on weekends, which Lee will do, visit students at their part-time job, which Lee will do. Students are so committed to Lee that tonight a student came back, and I'll let Lee maybe say hello to him on the microphone if I share that with you. But he came back to see him, and it touched me as I saw the student, because he's one of my favorite students too. I enjoy him. Come back, and he told me he's here for Mr. Cohen. Not hard to believe. Lee is more than just a school psychologist. He's more than just a counselor that talks to our kids. He's someone that formulates relationships with our kids, make sure they come back as alumni and feel part of what we do here. Lee truly lives up to what I consider a goal of a principal at West Orange High School, to be inclusive and nurturing, and he embodies it. Now to make fun of him. I said, I know Lee a long time. I knew Lee when we were in our 20s, and he was still a nice person. He was still a nice guy, a little wilder. Yes, he did look like one of the Kelly brothers. Always had a fancy car. Do you still have a fancy car, Lee? What do you have? A Tesla. Always have a fancy car. That's right. But truly very dedicated to West Orange and West Orange High School. We worked in an inpatient unit together, which was very chaotic. And I knew Lee was special then, and we were going to be friends for a long time because he was very zen in the most chaotic situation. When I'm panicking, he was like nothing was going on and things were okay. So I said to myself, this guy is either on drugs or he's I'm sorry, I probably should have said that. Or, Lee, I knew you too long. Or he's just got the greatest personality. And I'm going to tell you it's the latter. He has a terrific personality. And that personality he has extended here in our building for the last 21 years. So I just want to say thank you to both of you. But thank you, Lee, for being my friend as well. Ladies and gentlemen, my educational educator of the year, and my teacher of the year. Yeah. Noah's here. Yeah. We got the greatest students in the world at West Orange, though. Go Mountaineers.
This concludes our Governor Educator of the Year recognition celebration. Thank you again to our administrative team for joining us. Ms. Groff-Tisa and Mr. Halsell were here earlier today setting up, so thank you for your hard work. And again, sincere congratulations to all of our Teachers of the Year and Educational Services Professional of the Year. I hope you celebrate this fine accomplishment with your families and enjoy this moment. We're going to, I believe, pause for a brief intermission, and we have a display set up just outside the lobby for some nice pictures. So again, congratulations and thank you all.
like try to. Okay. Well, congratulations to all of our governor's Educator of the Year recipients. We were thrilled to recognize your achievements and contributions to our district this evening. It's moments like these when we can acknowledge all of our tremendous faculty and staff, and it really makes me proud of our school district. And thanks again to Dr. Vespinani for resurrecting this wonderful program. And I think now we are up to the public comment portion of our meeting.
President Tunnicliffe?
Yes.
We just have to finish
Oh,
the
I'm sorry.
HIB report. That's okay.
Thank you for the reminder. Yes.
No problem.
Sorry, back to you.
Thank you, President Tunnicliffe. So just to the second portion of the superintendent's report is the HIB report, which I've just handed out to you in hard copy. And you'll see that since the December 20th meeting at which the board confirmed two HIBs, there were six, right? Yes, six HIB complaints filed, six investigations completed within the timelines required under the board policy and the statute. All the six were found to be not meeting the criteria of HIB. I did review the executive summaries of all six of those cases. In two particular cases, I did follow up for additional clarification. And in one particular case, one of the cases was actually mislabeled, so I did have that revised. So I mentioned that only to lend a level of confidence to the board that I do review all of the executive summaries in detail prior to moving forward the board. But in reviewing those executive summaries, I did concur with the findings of the anti-bullying specialists and submit this report for the board's confirmation with confidence.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Cascone.
You're welcome.
Ms. Flowers?
Questions from the public on agenda action items? We have none submitted through the Google Doc.
There's a motion later on the agenda, which the board will vote on.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. So that was no questions from the Google Doc?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. So we will move on to person. So what we'll do is I'm going to ask the board to, we're going to go have a motion to accept items 1 through 9. Number 9 is the WOEA MOA. And I just wanted to, before we do that, read a quick statement about the MOA before we get into this. So we're very happy to report that we reached an agreement with the West Orange Educators Association, our teachers union. Our teachers worked tirelessly to do a difficult job on a good day, and of course, which was made even more difficult over the last 2 years during the COVID pandemic. And especially when their contract had expired back in June of 2020. Both parties have worked hard to craft this agreement, and this MOA represents a good thing for the district, our teachers, and our students. This agreement moves us forward, but it also gives us the ability to not only attract, but retain excellent talent. We value our teachers and are looking forward to continued student success here in West Orange. Thank you. Okay. So do I have a motion for items 1 through 9 on the personnel matters?
I'll motion.
Thank you, Ms. Huerta. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Rock. Ms. Flowers, or any comment or questions before we take the vote?
I would just like to congratulate the retirees.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Gail Bowsher from West Orange High School, special education, 38 years. Viviana Troya Figuerin Fornaguero, I'm sorry, from Edison Science, 21 years. And Karen Whitworth from St. Cloud, retirement after 20 years. So thank you very much for your dedication to the West Orange public schools.
Yes, and we also have Eileen Charles, one of our full-time bus drivers who's retiring after 29 years. So thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Anyone else? Should we start? Eric, do you have any questions or comments?
No questions or comments. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Rock?
No, none on this item.
Okay. Vice President Rothstein?
All good on personnel. Thank you.
Okay, great. Then Ms. Flowers?
Okay, vote for personnel, Mrs. Huerta,
Yes.
Mr. Rock,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
Vice President Rothstein,
Yes.
President Tunnicliff.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now we're going to move into curriculum and instruction. And we will vote on items 1 through 5. Do I have a motion to approve items 1 through 5 on curriculum and instruction?
I'll move.
Thank you, Mr. Rock. A second?
That was Mr. Stevenson, but
Oh,
I'll
I'm
second
sorry.
it.
Mr. Stevenson, please correct that for the record, Ms. Flowers.
Yes, thank you. And a second from Mr. Rock, am I
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Questions or comments?
I had one question.
Yes.
On number 4, the ELL tutoring and language support at Gregory. I was curious if we were doing something similar at any of the other elementary schools, and if not, if we had tried to gauge whether or not that would be helpful at other schools.
Dr. Casco?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for that question, Mr. Rock. Yes, there have been previously this year programs of a similar nature approved at, I believe, I know Washington and Hazel School off the top of my head, but yes, particularly the schools with our highest numbers of English language learners.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions or comments?
Just a brief comment that in reading about the Montclair Art Museum program, just that it's a terrific sounding program and great to see connection with local resources to help inform the education at the schools. So just always happy to see that type of opportunity for our teachers and know that it filters down to our students.
Yes, thank you. Okay, Ms. Flowers?
Mrs. Huerta,
Yes.
Mr. Rock,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
Vice President Rothstein,
Yes.
President Tunnicliff.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great, thank you, everyone. Now we move on to C, finance, and we will vote on items 1 through, let's see, it goes all the way down to
10.
9.
10.
10, sorry, 10. Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll motion.
Thank you, Ms. Huerta. Second?
Second.
And that was
Stevenson.
Mr. Stevenson. Thank you. Any questions or comments? We'll start with Mr. Stevenson.
No, President Tunnicliff, no questions or comments.
Thank you. Mr. Rock?
No.
Ms. Huerta?
No.
Vice President Rothstein?
I'm sorry, I'm just double checking. I think,
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Tunnicliff, I actually do have a question.
Okay,
That's okay.
Mr. Rothstein, did you,
Sure.
is that, okay, we can go back to you, Ms. Huerta.
Just a little more clarification on item number 8. I know I asked this in an earlier question to Dr. Cascone. If you could just elaborate a little bit on this item.
So if the board recalls, there were a number of mechanical ventilation projects that were identified as needing to be completed. They were divided up into 2 phases and 2 separate bid would those be considered RFPs or bids? Bids, yeah. So those are divided up into two phases. The first phase was principally the work that was done at Mount Pleasant School over the course of the summer in order that school could be open for school, for students and staff to start the year. This represents the second phase of the work. This is work that we were able to, that did not need to be done right away, but it represents basically the lion's share of the mechanical ventilation work to be done in the district, which will bring mechanical ventilation to a number of spaces, as you can see in all of these schools that had previously been used in the district without mechanical ventilation systems. And it totals, I think, all told, I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of approximately $2 million combined between the two projects, the projects at Mount Pleasant and this project. And so this particular motion, Ms. Flowers, serves the purpose of?
It was a revision due to the projects being submitted to the county. There was some specific wording that we needed to change. We needed to include the project numbers and specifically state that the application was being submitted to the state by our architect of record, EI Associates.
Thank you very much for the clarification.
Our pleasure, Ms. Huerta. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Huerta. Back to you, Mr. Vice President Rothstein.
Thank you. Yes, I did have one question about item number 7, the ACES cooperative pricing system. It doesn't look like there's any cost to the district, and I just wanted to confirm, is that the case, that there's no cost to enter into that agreement? It's just the formality of documenting it?
That's correct. Signing up for this membership to this cooperative allows us to be able to use this cooperative for purchasing any technology needs that we have at a discounted rate.
Terrific. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great, thank you. I do have one question on item number 4 about the tuition and extraordinary aid for service adjustments. I'm just curious, do we get a breakdown, an itemization of what those additional costs are for? And if so, do we have access to it?
Yes, that's something that we can get for you. Those items, the certified tuition rate comes out every 2 years. So that's why you'll see typically, this is a common occurrence. Once we get the certified tuition rates, any adjustments needed, we put forward on the board agenda. So that's something that we can definitely itemize for you and get a report.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, that's all. If you'd like to take the vote now, Ms. Flowers.
Okay, thank you, President Tunnicliffe. Mrs. Huerta,
Yes.
Mr. Rock,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
Vice President Rothstein,
Yes.
President Tunnicliffe.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, yes. Thank you, Ms. Huerta. We did want to acknowledge some of the grants and donations that came in, and item number 2, just quickly, we had the Tabitha St. Bernard Jacobs donated a Canon Rebel T3i camera valued at $800 to our West Orange High School Photography Club. The Brain Injury Alliance of New Jersey donated $1,000 to the West Orange High School. Our Mount Pleasant PTA donated, excuse me, to their LMC, the amount of $2,296.20 through a Love My Library fundraiser. And the Kai Family Foundation donated to the school district $5,800 gift cards. And that's everything. So thank you very much for those generous donations. And back to you, Dr. Cascone, for the acceptance of the report. Is that, or I guess we need a motion for that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So do I have a motion for the item D for the reports to accept the HIB report ending January 24th, 2022?
Yes, moved.
Thank you, Vice President Rothstein. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Huerta. Ms. Flowers, would you take the vote?
Mrs. Huerta,
Yes.
Mr. Rock,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
Vice President Rothstein,
Yes.
President Tunnicliff.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We now have petitions and hearings of citizens on non-agenda items. Ms. Flowers, do we have anything that was written in from the Google Doc?
No, no, don't have any submissions.
Okay, and we
Thank you.
don't have an audience anymore, so that's that. Now we have reports from the board members. Ms. Huerta, why don't we start with you?
Sure. So I do have a legislative report. This month, there were 3 bills passed by legislature. They were signed into law Monday, January 10th. The first is titled School Security Drills, A5727 and S-3726. This bill aims to ensure students' well-being during school security drills by dictating certain measures that must be taken in advance of, during, and after conducting such a drill. According to the sponsor, the legislation would ensure that lockdown drills take into consideration the impact these drills can have on the mental health of students, while continuing the safety preparations for students should an intruder appear at a school. This bill requires that a school district must ensure that a school security drill that occurs when students are present follow the following guidelines. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't list the guidelines, but I was going to link the elaborated version. We can post that somewhere on the Facebook page. I mean, on
our
website, right? The next bill is an anti-bullying law revisions, S-1790 and A-1662. This makes various changes to the state's anti-bullying law and improves harassment, intimidation, and bullying reporting and investigations. The next bill, mental health data reporting, A-4838, S-2811, requires that the annual school report card submitted by a school district to include the following information for each school within the district. The first is the number of mental health professionals, including school psychologists, school counselors, social workers, student assistants, coordinators, and other mental health professionals, and the ratio of students to the total number of mental health professionals. The second is the number of school safety specialists. The law applies to the first full school year following enactment, so it'll be for next year. Then we do have some news on school bus shortages. The New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission will not require New Jersey applicants for school bus driver licensing to take the under the hood portion of the exam. This was made effective January 7th through March 31st, 2022. The latest action by the New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission is in addition to the numerous other measures it has taken over the pandemic to ease the school bus driver shortage, including providing expedited CDL testing for the school bus driver candidates by working with school bus operators, school districts, and driving schools, and reducing the number of visits required for testing. And there's several things that they've done to help us with our bus driver shortages.
Desperately needed, yeah.
Exactly, so we can keep our kids coming to school. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much.
Legislative report.
Appreciate that. I know we haven't convened formal committees yet, but I wanted to give an opportunity to Mr. Rock and Mr. Stevenson. Mr. Rock, do you have any reports or comments?
No reports at this time, other than Ms. Worth and I were just talking about scheduling a town council liaison meeting.
Perfect. Mr. Stevenson, anything from you tonight?
No report this evening. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And Vice President Rothstein.
Yes, thank you. So I'll be serving on as a delegate to 2 different groups this year, the New Jersey School Board Association and the Essex County School Board Association. I'm not sure how to complete their name. So yeah, I searched for information on the upcoming meetings, signed up for one for Essex County, and wrote to our school board's representative for some help in making sure that I've got all of the upcoming meetings identified and will register for those, and got a funny reply. And so I'll be just making sure to report back on all of those. Right now, the only meeting that's on the schedule is a May 11th meeting of the Essex County School Board Association. And so that one I've already registered for. And like I said, I'll make sure all the other dates are identified and report back as those meetings occur. And then with regards to policy, very quickly, just wanted to say thank you to Dr. Cascone. We spoke earlier, and I appreciate the help in following up on next steps with policy. So hopefully we'll have some information soon on.
Mr. Rothstein, I just want to confirm that I do have a meeting set up with Sandy Nicastro from Strauss Esme for
great.
Wednesday.
Oh, terrific.
So I'll have, resolution on those questions for you.
That's great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And then Mr. Stevenson, just that we'll have to get in touch with each other and plan some meetings to go over policy information from last year, so I can just sort of catch you up on what we covered last year and what we're looking forward to this year.
Thank you.
Of course. And then just as a last word, just wanted to congratulate the district on the completion of the contract negotiations for this year. It's a big relief, and looking forward to moving forward.
Yes, thank you, Vice President Rothstein. And I think Ms. Huerta and I need to meet on public relations, and I think we'll schedule a meeting shortly, so we have a report coming up, and I think that's it for tonight. Our next board meeting will be held at 7:30 p.m. on February 7th, 2022 at West Orange High School. At this point, we will close the public session, and the board will go back into reconvene in our closed session. And there will be no further action taken here at this meeting. Thank you. Actually, I do have one more thing to report before we close the meeting. I did want to let the community know about our interim superintendent search. We have received a number of on the board. We'll be reviewing those, and within the next week, we will be setting up meetings to interview the candidates and move forward. So that's where we are on our search, which I think is good news. And now we can close the meeting, and there will be no further action taken or after this. Do I need to? Oh, I need to make a motion to.
Is there a motion?
Is there a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you.
I'll second Ms. Huerta's motion.
Thank you.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 This public session is now closed.